A house without walls cannot hold its own weight. A house without a foundation will crumble under its own silence. But a house without discipline, it looks whole on the outside, but inside, it's already falling apart. Success doesn't begin at the finish line. It begins before the day starts. Before you show up to the world, you must first show up to yourself. Before the light enters the room, the structure must already be standing. If you do not govern your own soul, the world will govern it for you. And make no mistake, its terms will not be kind. The man without discipline is not free. He is not spontaneous. He is lost, not relaxed. He is reactive. He is not flowing. He is flailing. Discipline is not a cage. It is the skeleton of freedom, the breath of order, the backbone of all greatness. And like Confucius once said, the strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. So I ask you, is your home in order? Not the one you live in, the one you live as, the one built of thoughts, of choices, of convictions and habits. Because you are the first structure that must be sound. Everything else, your business, your relationships, your legacy, they are built on you. Their mindset and inner order. Every day you walk into the world, you bring yourself with you. That self is either a weapon or a wound, either a hammer that builds or a storm that shatters. Discipline is not about harshness. It is not a punishment. It is a sacred agreement, a pact between the man you are and the man you must become. There is no peace without alignment. If your thoughts say one thing, your mouth says another, and your actions scream something else entirely. You are a scattered house. And scattered houses are the first to fall when the winds of adversity blow. Your mind must become a temple, not cluttered with distraction, not stained with regret, but clean, silent, ready. You cannot walk into battle if you're still looking for your sword. You cannot lead others if you've lost yourself in the fog of your own inconsistency. That's what mindset is. It is not positive thinking. It is strategic alignment. It's not just repeating affirmations. It's building internal architecture. It's waking up and declaring, not just with words, but with motion. I will not abandon myself today, because every day you break a promise to yourself, you teach your soul it is unworthy of trust. A clarity and structure. A house begins with a blueprint. No great structure rises from guessing. Clarity is the seed of structure, and structure is the root of discipline. If you do not know what you stand for, you will fall for every urgency, every distraction, every minor temptation disguised as a shortcut. And in this world, distractions don't knock. They kick the door down. They whisper, "You deserve to rest before you've earned it." They say, "You can start tomorrow," when tomorrow is just a graveyard for today's cowardice. Clarity is not just knowing your goals. It's knowing your values, knowing what must be protected, even if it costs you comfort, even if it costs you applause, even if no one understands why you move the way you do. Confucius once said, "When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps." That's what clarity does. It turns excuses into strategies, vagueness into vision, confusion into cadence. You don't need more motivation. You need more alignment, more inner scaffolding, more order in the temple of your being. A vision and discipline. A vision without discipline is a hallucination. It's a castle in the clouds with no ladder to reach it. Dreams without structure are the most dangerous form of self-deception because they feel like forward motion, but they are just stillness in disguise. Every man has a vision, but few build the road to meet it. Discipline is the bricklayer. One action at a time, one morning resisted, one craving denied, 1 hour invested. You do not become great by accident. You do not become peaceful by convenience. You design yourself. Every choice is a nail, every sacrifice a beam. Every early morning, every lonely night, every focused hour. It's all part of the house, and make no mistake, your house will be tested by failure, by betrayal, by success itself. Because the irony is, the more you grow, the more chaos comes to your door. The louder your calling becomes, the more seductive the noise. The higher your mountain, the stronger the wind. Only discipline can hold you upright. Only structure can keep you from folding into the very success you sought. Ere purpose and conviction, why does the soldier rise before dawn? Why does the sculptor return to the stone again and again? Why does the monk sit still while the world spins around him? Purpose. A man with purpose does not need perfect conditions. He does not need motivation. He does not need applause. Purpose is the eternal fire beneath discipline. Without it, discipline becomes dry, robotic, exhausting. But with it, even the hardest days become holy. Even the simplest routines feel sacred. Purpose turns routine into ritual, effort into expression, suffering into sacrifice. But hear this, purpose is not something you find. It is something you build. From silence, from honesty, from listening to the questions you've been too afraid to ask. Who are you when no one is watching? What burns in your gut that you keep trying to silence? What breaks your heart about this world? And what would you die to change? A man with purpose does not drift. He walks, head high, shoulders square, not because life is easy, but because he is ready, and readiness is born from discipline. The home he built inside himself does not shake with the storm, because it was never built for comfort. It was built to withstand. Our discipline in action. Discipline is not theory. It is not intention. It is not potential. It is execution, not just once, but relentlessly, repeatedly, when it's boring, when it's cold, when it's inconvenient, because that's when it matters most. Talk is cheap. The world is drowning in good ideas, but action, sustained, deliberate, uncomfortable action, that's rare, that's sacred. Confucius said, "The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions." In other words, less mouth, more motion. Say less. Do more. Speak not of your dreams, become them. Because when the body obeys the soul's vision, when your habits follow your higher self, you begin to move like a different force in this world. Not chaotic, not desperate, but carved, sculpted, a living monument of your own will. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. Even the most disciplined stumble, but they return, they realign. They remember the house they are building, brick by brick, hour by hour. No matter how many times they must start again, because discipline is not a switch you flip. It is a road you walk, and every step is a vote for the person you want to become. A gratitude and inner stability. Now listen, discipline does not mean living in absence. It is not a denial of joy. It is the curation of it. Gratitude is the companion of discipline, because when you are focused, when your house is clean, you begin to see again the simple, the real, the eternal, the sound of the morning air, the feeling of breath in your lungs, the freedom in choosing your response, not reacting like a puppet pulled by emotion. A man out of control cannot be grateful because he is too busy chasing, too busy drowning. But the disciplined man, he notices. He is not controlled by outcomes because he already knows what matters. He is not swayed by applause because he already knows his worth. Gratitude doesn't make you soft. It sharpens your perception. It reminds you that you are not owed anything, yet you are already given everything you need to build. And when you build from gratitude, not greed, from wholeness, not hunger, your house becomes something the world cannot shake, because it was never made to impress, it was made to last. Adaptability and inner balance. But what happens when the storm comes? When plans fall apart? When life shifts without warning? This is where many collapse. because they built only for the good weather. But a house with discipline is flexible in its form and firm in its foundation. It can bend, but it won't break. Adaptability is not the opposite of discipline. It is its partner. Rigidity is brittle, but discipline gives you balance, so you can move with the moment without being moved by it. Confucius taught that the green reed which bends in the wind is stronger than the mighty oak which breaks in a storm. Discipline is not about stubborn resistance. It's about intentional resilience, knowing when to hold and when to shift, when to push and when to pause, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You don't abandon your vision when life gets hard. You adjust your strategy. You don't quit the mission. You change the path. That's what inner balance gives you. A house with no flexibility cracks with the first earthquake, but a house with both strength and softness. It endures, it breathes, it evolves, and that's what you must become. Not just strong, but wise. Not just consistent, but alive. Air resilience and endurance. The truth is the road will be long. Some seasons will be dry. Some walls will collapse before they're finished. Some days, the silence will echo louder than your progress. But here's what most don't realize. Resilience isn't about never falling. It's about knowing why you must rise. It's easy to move when you're winning. Easy to build when the sun is out and the praise is loud. But what about when no one sees you? When the work feels endless and the results are invisible? That's where most abandon the blueprint. But not you, because you understand the blueprint isn't just for when it's easy. It exists for the days when it's not. Discipline is the candle you carry through the dark tunnel. Resilience is the hand that refuses to let it go. The disciplined man knows every step is sacred, every fall is temporary, every setback is a test, not of skill but of spirit. And so he keeps walking. One more rep, one more sunrise, one more quiet act of honor, because he's not building for approval. He's not chasing a trophy, he's building a life, a house with roots, a name with weight, a legacy with depth. And that can only be born through the fire, not comfort, not applause. Discipline. Lifelong learning and mastery. Now you've walked far. You've built your habits. You've ordered your thoughts. You've faced the winds and you've held your ground. But discipline does not mean stopping. Discipline means evolving. The wise man is always a student. He sharpens his blade even after his first victory. He questions his steps even when the road seems clear. Confucius said, "Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance." So you must be willing to unlearn, to challenge your assumptions, to break what you once thought unbreakable. The undisciplined man fears uncertainty, but the disciplined man invites it, because he knows growth lives there, not in safety, not in echo chambers, but in discomfort, in challenge, in humility. Discipline is not pride, it is presence. It is the quiet knowing that you can always become more, not to chase perfection, but to honor potential. And when you become a master of yourself, you begin to teach, not by word, but by being. You become a lighthouse, not swayed by the tides, but shining, still, anchored, because your house, your being, is now a home for greatness to dwell. A self-respect and sacred standards. There is one truth few have the courage to face. Your discipline is a mirror of your self-respect. The way you treat your goals is the way you believe you deserve to live. And if you do not believe you are worthy of greatness, you will sabotage every step toward it. The man who sleeps through his purpose is not lazy. He is hurting. He is drifting not because he lacks ambition, but because somewhere deep inside he believes he is unworthy of the life he dreams about. Discipline, then, is not just about action. It is about identity. You cannot rise in the world if you keep shrinking in your own mind. You must choose to live like someone who matters, not in ego, but in sacred obligation. You must stop negotiating with weakness. Stop compromising with mediocrity. Stop inviting doubt to sit at your table like it belongs there. Set standards so high they force your evolution. Build a schedule that demands your transformation. Design a life that will not tolerate your smaller self. You are not here to fit in. You are not here to blend. You are not here to survive. You are here to build. And builders do not beg for comfort. They sacrifice for structure. They sweat for silence. They bleed for meaning. Because they know a house built for greatness does not rise on wishes. It rises on work, our legacy, and the hidden cost of indiscipline. But let's speak of the other path, the one most take. The path of ease, of indulgence, of delay. The undisciplined life feels good. For a season it promises you comfort, but it steals from your future. It whispers, why not skip it? While it digs the grave of your momentum, you don't see the damage until years have passed, until your strength is gone, until your dream has grown cold, until your inner house is too broken to enter, and you realize you were the one who let the termites in. Every time you scroll instead of study, every time you lie instead of lead, every time you silence the voice of responsibility with noise or pleasure, you are selling pieces of your own house for pennies. And when the winds come, and they always do, you'll have nothing left to stand on. Not because the world was too hard, but because you never built strong enough to face it. But discipline is the only insurance against regret. It is the wall between you and the death of your potential. And if you don't pay now with focus, you'll pay later with failure. If you don't pay now with effort, you'll pay later with emptiness. Legacy is not what you leave behind. It's what you build every day. And every undisciplined moment is a crack in the walls of your legacy. Air silence, solitude, and inner command. To build true discipline, you must first master silence. Not the absence of sound, but the presence of inner command. In silence, the noise of the world fades. And what remains? The truth. Your excuses, your weaknesses, your buried desires, they all rise in the quiet. And this is why most avoid it. They fill their days with sound, with clicks, with chatter, with comfort, because they fear what stillness might reveal. But you must learn to sit in the fire, to face yourself without flinching, to hear the voice of your higher self and obey it, without needing applause, without needing reward. Discipline is not reactive. It is not emotional. It is chosen again and again from a deep place of clarity and command. And that kind of command is born in solitude, in repetition, in the quiet moments where no one is watching, but you are. Confucius taught, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." So conquer your impulses, conquer your distractions, conquer the urge to quit when no one is there to stop you. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when your house becomes a fortress. A climactic conclusion, becoming the house that cannot fall. Now hear me, you were not born to be chaotic. You were not born to be aimless. You were not born to live in a house that falls with every gust of wind. You were born to build, to endure, to rise again and again and again until the world no longer doubts the foundation you stand on. Every moment you act with discipline, you rewrite your story. You tell your past. You no longer define me. You tell your doubt. You do not lead me. You tell your future. I'm coming for you, and I'm bringing everything I've built. Because a house built with discipline does not shake. It stands. It stands when life changes. It stands when others leave. It stands when the world mocks, when it doubts, when it attacks. It stands not because it was lucky, but because it was earned daily, relentlessly, with fire, with faith, with self-respect so high it could not be bought, and a standard so sacred it could not be broken. And when your house stands long enough, others will gather beneath it. They will look at you not with envy, but with reverence, because you showed them what it looks like to build something real. You were the one who rose before the sun. You were the one who walked when others waited. You were the one who bled when others begged for comfort. And now, you are the one who stands when the rest fall. You are the house. You are the foundation. You are the fortress. And nothing, no storm, no voice, no fear, can ever take from you what discipline has built. Now rise. Walk like the architect of your destiny. Move like the keeper of a sacred flame. And never again forget, a house without discipline will collapse. But you were made to endure.